Now we start with the module 2, which is nothing but elastic properties of materials. In this session we see elastic properties basics and few definitions. What is elasticity? We'll see few definitions and we will be looking at the next session. We'll be looking in the next sessions the derivations. Okay. Now first definition is deforming force. Force that produces deformation. Deforming means the one where there is a change in the length, volume or shape of a object due to the application of force. That deforming force is that change is called, that produces deformation is nothing but a deformation force, or it causes this deformation force produces a change in the dimensions in length, volume and shape, then it becomes a deforming force. Next is the restoring force. Restoring force. Force equal and opposite to deforming force that come into play which tries to restore the body to its original state. On removal of deforming force, restoring force brings the body to the original shape or state. What exactly is happening here is when the external force is being applied, there is a change in the shape of the body. That causes a deformation in the body. When there is a change in the shape or a size of length of a body, internally there exists one force which resists the change. That resisting force which is developed internally is called as a restoring force. That is what it says. Force equal and opposite to the deforming force. Deforming force is a force that causes a change. So equal and opposite to that of deforming force, there is a restoring force that is developed inside a body, and that force is called as a restoring force. On removal of the deforming force, restoring force brings back the body to the original state. Consider a rubber band. If you stretch a rubber band, you are applying a force to stretch it. The moment you remove the deforming the force which you are applying, there exists a restoring force which tries to bring back the body to the original position. So deforming force, the opposite to that of deforming force is nothing but a restoring force which acts on a body to bring back the body to the original state. This is called as a restoring force. Next is elasticity or elastic property. Now we have seen that restoring force, deforming force are equal and opposite forces, and restoring force tries to bring back the body to the original state. Elasticity is a property of a material by virtue of which they regain their original shape and size after the removal of the deforming force acting on them. As I told you, this phenomena of regaining the original shape after the removal of the deforming force, this property is called as elasticity and also called as elastic property. You can see with just a simple case of rubber band where you are getting the application of the force causes the body to change in its dimensions of the body in length, volume or shape, and the removal of deforming force, it tries to regain to original state. This phenomena is called as elasticity. Now we see what is plasticity or a plastic property. It is a property of a material by virtue of which they retain their deformed shape and size after the removal of deforming force acting on them. That means they retain their deformed shape. That means their deformed shape is been retained. That means it has been in the same position. It is not coming back to the same position. Once the deformation means there is a change in the length of volume or shape, virtue of which they retain their deformed shape. They are not coming back to the original shape. They are retaining their deformed shape. That means when there is a change, the change is remain permanently. They are retaining their deformed shape. This is very, very important. Retain their deformed shape. Deformed shape means the change, there is a shape. That shape is been fixed like that permanently. Such type of a phenomena is called as a plasticity or plastic body. Now the classification of materials. Materials are classified into two categories: elastic materials, plastic materials. Now what are elastic materials? Which is there is a difference between retain and regain. Regain means coming back, retaining means fixing the same place. It is retaining its position, it is not changing. So elastic materials which regain, it is coming back to their original state on removal of deforming force. That materials are called as elastic materials, like quartz, steel and rubber. plastic materials which are not able to regain their original state on the removal of deforming force. Example, putty, clay, mud, wax, lead, chewing gum, which is retaining their, which is not able to regain, it is retaining their deformed shape. There is a change in the shape that has been fixed permanently, it has been fixed. It is not able to regain their original shape. That materials are called as plastic materials. Now what is load? It is an external force acting on a body that produces change in the dimensions of the body is called as a load. Stress is the restoring force per unit area of cross section of a wire. Stress is nothing but a restoring force per unit area of cross section of a wire or a rod. Stress is nothing but force per unit area, that is Newton per meter square. Now we see the types of stresses. There are longitudinal stress, bulk stress or the shear stress. We will see these are the three types of stresses. What is longitudinal or the tensile stress? Here the stretching force acting per unit area of cross section of a solid along its length. When there is a change in the length of the body due to the application of the force, that amount of stress applied, force per unit area along its length is called as a longitudinal stress. Longitudinal stress produces a change in the length only but not in shape and volume. So longitudinal stress is nothing but when there is a change along its length due to the stretching force, then it is called as a longitudinal stress. Next is a bulk stress or the volume stress. It is a stress in which the body is subjected to external forces normally on all faces. It is a bulk stress or the volume stress. I can give you a best example here is, take a balloon filled with water. Okay. What will happen if you pierce holes to the balloon? Slowly water, and if you push a pressure over there, the water inside the balloon, if you give the pressure to that, the water will come out of the balloon holes perpendicularly. Similarly, a ball, normal rubber ball, if you press it, what will happen? It is a stress due to you are giving a pressure normal to the body, normal on all the faces, due to which the ball is getting shrink. There is a change in the volume of the ball. That stress is called as a bulk stress. Here bulk stress produces changes in the volume of a body but not in the shape. It is a volume. It is a volume that is been changes. So it is a stress in which the body is subjected to equal forces normally on all the faces. This is called as a bulk stress. Bulk stress produces a change in the volume of a body but not in shape. Next is a shear stress or the tangential stress. It is a force acting tangentially per unit area of a body. It is a tangential stress which we are applying tangentially on a body. It is called as a tangential stress or the shear stress. Shear stress produces a change in the shape of body but not in volume. Now we see the types of strain. The ratio of change in dimensions of a material to the original dimension. The strain is nothing but change in dimension by original length. There are three types of strains: longitudinal strain, volume strain and the shear strain. Here what is the longitudinal strain is, we have seen the longitudinal stress is change, the length has been changed by the force applied. Here longitudinal strain means it is a ratio of change in length to the original length. It is a ratio of change in length to the original length is a longitudinal strain. Next is volume strain. Change in volume to the original volume. Here volume strain is nothing but the ratio of change in volume to the original volume. Here the strain doesn't have any dimensions because it is a ratio of change in length by original length. Next is a shear strain. It is a ratio of lateral displacement between two layers to the perpendicular distance between the two layers. Shear strain can be defined as the ratio of lateral displacement between the two layers to the perpendicular distance between the two layers. So delta x by x is the shear strain, delta v by v is the volume strain and delta L by L is the longitudinal strain. Now what are the engineering importance of elastic materials? Why do we need to study these elastic materials? This knowledge is very important for engineering applications because By knowing the elastic properties of different materials such as tensile strength, ductility, elasticity, plasticity, stress and strain relationship, various moduli of elasticity, and how the above properties can be altered. This means if you know the various material strength, ductility, elastic limit, plasticity, you can use that material for different applications. As example, I can tell you the cranes what we use, the material what the crane of threads of the cranes we can use here is the crane can able to lift some of the materials. So what is the material that has to be used to lift the material, how much it can withstand, and all this relationship, all these properties are required for engineering applications. So in order, if you know the behavior of the material, how much it can able to withstand, how much it can be made into elastic limit, what is the plastic limit, that application can be made by an engineer for a better choice of materials for the use of different branches of engineering. Example, pure metals are soft, hence they are not preferred in engineering applications, whereas alloys are hardened, they find wide applications in engineering. So by knowing these elastic properties, we can utilize the material in different application level. Metallurgy deals with the use of materials or metals for different applications of engineering fields. So metallurgy is a science where you can see what type of materials can be used for what type of applications in engineering fields. Thank you.